My heartfelt congratulations to you, Bill, on this significant milestone of 25 years. And what a great milestone. You've changed the trajectory of global health. The Gates Foundation has been a relentless engine of breakthrough innovations. Innovations in life-saving vaccines to global alliances for endemic diseases. 1 million lives have been touched. 65 million deaths have been prevented in 150 countries. I don't know of anybody in history who has made such an impact in their own lifetime. And these are not just numbers. These are stories of children who have survived, of mothers who have lived, and of families who have rewritten history. I want to begin with a personal story. I met the President of India. She is a lady who was a tribal, comes from a small village in Orissa. And she told me one thing when we were talking about health, that at the age of 64, she was the oldest living person in her village. In tribal areas in India, the longevity is 11 years less than that of the rest of India. And this is where the Gates Foundation has been working and has brought down the maternal mortality rate by 74%. The Gates Foundation has been more powerful, not only because of what they do, but they do not do it alone, but by bringing great alliances, working with leading philanthropists, working with leading NGOs, with government and civil society. I think it takes a lot of vision and a lot of humility to get this to be done. I want to just share again a personal note of how philanthropy began in my family. My grandfather, who lived in a small village in rural Rajasthan, which is a desert area, in the early 1900s, decided to try his fortune and move to Bombay with just $10 in his pocket. With his hard work, he did make a small fortune. But the legacy he left behind is that the first thing he did is to go back to his village and start 2 schools. These schools, the first school was for the lowest caste. At that time, caste was a big factor in India. They were the most underprivileged and ignored. The first student was a low caste person. The second school was that for girls. Again, at a time when girls' education was not as popular. So there he was, working for those who were the most disadvantaged in society. The second thing that he taught us was the feeling, the way of serving, which in our language, in Hindi, would be called Sewa Bhaav, or what I would translate as service with love and compassion. It is service as when you are the giver of the service and you are the receiver of the service on the other hand. We are all on the same level. And this is the best example is that of a mother feeding her newborn baby. Yes, do you call that service? Yeah, in some ways it is going through a lot of challenges. You have to have sleepless nights, but you do it with love and it's joy. That's these 2 principles of working with the most disadvantaged and working with Sewa Bhaav has been the foundation of our philanthropy, where we have 5,000 workers working every day with this service attitude of Sewa Bhaav and with working in the most disadvantaged. And that has been In some ways, we share Bill's belief of that every life has equal value. Our work together with the Gates Foundation has seen that this belief, when it meets bold action, we can have huge outcomes. Let me give you an example. The last 3 years, we've been working in Bihar in the area of health. We have now done in 12,000 health centers in Bihar, digitized it. In addition, we've seen to it that 90% of all the essential medicines are available at any time in these health centers. And what has been the outcome since we are all focused on outcomes? We have seen that Bihar, which in health parameters was amongst the worst states in the country, has today become the #1. And what is even more remarkable is that we did this experiment and showed this to the government in just one district. Bihar has 39 districts, and in the rest of the districts, it was the government who put the money. So we've been able to multiply our investment by 15 to 20 times. And seeing this example, there are 3 other larger states, UP, Assam, and another one, where the governments are doing the same thing. So that has been the impact of just one example of what we've been able to do together. This has inspired us now to form a global alliance. India today is the 4th largest economy in the world, but there are almost 200 million people who've not been able to reach the full potential of their lives. And that is where we are working together to see how, in collaboration with global philanthropists, with Indian philanthropists, with the government, with society, and the community, how we can impact 200 million people and bring them up in our own lifetimes. It is not only a project for India, but a template for the global South. And as we've seen in other things, I think together we can solve the toughest challenges. It's not just by what and how much we give, but what we build. It's not just programs, but it is systems. It's not just outcomes, but ownership with communities that we want to do. Thank you, Bill, for your belief in India and showing the world what's possible.